So America's ninth largest pension fund just plowed a lazy $167 million into Bitcoin. And this comes only 1 month after Japan's $1 trillion pension fund came out and said that they were investigating Bitcoin for a diversification away from the Japanese yen. And I find it really, really interesting that Michael Saylor, Michael Saylor came out yesterday and he said, look, there's actually thousands of pension funds in America managing $27 trillion worth of assets. So today we're going to be running the numbers and I'm going to be making the case for why pension fund FOMO has already started all around the world. Okay, so let's break down what happened yesterday and why it's a bigger deal than most people think. Okay, so the state of Wisconsin has come out and they've actually bought $160 million worth of Bitcoin exposure yesterday. Okay, again, that's the big caveat. They haven't actually bought Bitcoin. They're not self-custodying their Bitcoin, but they're buying the BlackRock Bitcoin IBIT ETF. Okay, so we all know that. So let's have a look at how many shares they have. They have a lot of shares. They've got 94,000 shares worth of BlackRock's IBIT Bitcoin ETF, which is absolutely massive. And this is because they had to file their 13F report. Okay. Now, again, I warned you guys last week that today, on the 15th of May, we are due to get a lot of disclosures from a lot of companies who are all coming out and filing their 13F forms with the SEC. So stay tuned. We could see some even bigger buyers coming out in the next couple of days. Okay, now this pension fund buying 160 million big ones worth of Bitcoin, it's massive. Okay, very, very, very big. We can see that the investment board of Wisconsin's state pension also purchased about $64 million worth of GBTC. Okay, that's very interesting. That's very fascinating. So they're diversifying just a little bit, okay? Just a little bit. Now we can see that this state pension fund owns about $156 billion worth of assets. That's right. That's billion with a B. Okay, that's a lot. Now we can see here, the disclosure comes as March 15 is the deadline to file quarterly holdings by institutional investment managers with at least $100 million in assets under management. The market is watching these disclosures to see if any large TradFi funds have invested in the Bitcoin ETFs since their launch earlier in the year. Okay, this is the more interesting part about the story. Today is the deadline for massive institutional funds with over $100 million of assets under management. So we could see more. Tomorrow, we might be doing 2 live streams and getting a little bit bullish because hopefully, maybe, we could see some other big boys getting into Bitcoin in a very, very, very big way. But let's have a look at what Michael Saylor said here. So again, if you guys didn't know, there's $27 trillion worth of assets in pension funds all around, in America. And there's thousands of pension funds in America. And again, the Giga Chad also tweeted this out. But I think it's big, but it's not the first time this has happened. Okay, so again, earlier in the year, we got this news that we brought to you guys as well. Japan's $1 trillion pension fund was quote unquote investigating Bitcoin for diversification, strategies. That's what they said. They said, look, we're looking at ways to kind of diversify away from the Japanese yen, which is absolutely devaluing like toilet paper. In the past 4 years, it's lost 50% of its value against the US dollar. And we all know that the US dollar has lost 40% of its value against goods and services in the past 4 years. So the dollar's lost that much against goods and services in America, but the Japanese yen's lost 50% against the dollar. So how much purchasing power have the Japanese lost by holding Japanese yen against goods and services in America? 70, 80%? Haven't ran the exact numbers, but I think this is something a lot of people miss. Okay. The Japanese are losing a lot of money, and this is why we're seeing headlines like this come out last month. Japan's $1 trillion pension fund considers Bitcoin for diversification strategies. Okay. Now, for you guys who missed that live stream, They are a $1.5 trillion pension fund, the biggest in the world, this Japanese pension fund. Okay. Now, what else is kind of interesting is this isn't the first time that we've kind of seen pension fund FOMO come into the Bitcoin space. Who remembers this article here? Let's go take a quick drink. Way back in 2020, the 169-year-old, love that number, pension fund Mass Mutual invested 100 million big ones in a Bitcoin. Okay, again, that's an interesting number. Mass Mutual buys $100 million worth of Bitcoin in 2020. And now today we have the Wisconsin pension fund investing about 160 odd million in a Bitcoin. So again, interesting numbers, but we can see this was at the time only 0.04% of its general investment account. But at the time it was massive because look at the date of this puppy. This was December 2020. So this was only a few months after Michael Saylor invested into Bitcoin. And at the time, I thought this was going to be the beginning of a very big trend. We obviously know that in a few months after then, in early 2021, Elon Musk came out and announced that, he'd put, $1.5 billion worth of Tesla's money on the balance sheet in a Bitcoin. So at the time, I thought, hey, this could really be, the snowball running down the proverbial snow mountain. What's it called? Snow mountain, side of the mountain. I don't know, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just making it up as we go. But again, we didn't see a whole lot of investments into Bitcoin following Elon Musk in the institutional phase. We obviously saw El Salvador adopt Bitcoin, but we all know that bull run was cut short. And I actually think, again, I don't know where my tinfoil hat is. It's not around here at the moment. But if I were to put the tinfoil hat on, I would say that somebody tapped China on the shoulder and said, hey, can you ban Bitcoin mining? Can you kick all the miners out of your country? We need you to crash the price so that the big boys, the Wall Street institutions, our BlackRocks, our pension funds have another 2 to 3 years to actually accumulate Bitcoin. And again, I find it interesting that we're getting all of these announcements as the price of Bitcoin is kind of consolidating under its previous all-time high. Again, we were kind of making fun of the bears just yesterday, or maybe it was a stream a few days ago, who were kind of saying, Bitcoin's going to chop sideways for the next 6 months. All of your favorite crypto gurus have been saying that. Big sell in May and go away. Bitcoin's going to be boring. But have a look at what Bitcoin's doing today. It's certainly not boring. Right now, it's at about 66,000 bucks a pop. Have a look at that big green candle. I don't know. You guys know that whenever I see a consensus opinion, I'm going to challenge it, okay? The market always challenges consensus opinions. And over the past couple of months, we were showing you the data when Bitcoin dipped to $56,000 on this most recent correction. Let's have a look. I want to get my numbers straight. Bitcoin dipped to $56,500. We did a live stream on the day that happened, showing you that Mr. 100 bought 4,000 Bitcoin in under 24 hours on that day. And we also showed you more data showing that whales were heavily accumulating Bitcoin on that day that Bitcoin was $56,000. This was the same day that all of your favorite crypto YouTube channels were saying, it's all over. We're going to 52,000 because of my favorite technical analysis charts. I don't want to rip on the technical analysis boys. But again, just another warning that, consensus opinions are typically wrong. And all of the TA gurus who expected Bitcoin to go down to 52K, well, right now it's at $66,000. So I think you should always watch what the big money is doing. Watch what Mr. 100 is doing. The 11th largest Bitcoin whale in the entire world. Watch what the pension funds are doing. Watch what BlackRock is doing. Okay, again, these are the big boys. These are the boys with all the money that really do move the markets. Okay, now again, these are the ones we need to be watching. Now, why do I think it is such a big deal that pension funds are now buying Bitcoin? Well, we know that pension funds are grossly unfunded in America and all around the world. We can see here that there's actually $163 trillion of unfunded liabilities in America. Now, these take the form of Social Security promises for workers, as well as Medicare promises. And again, this is a little bit of an old graphic, but it's one of my best graphics because it compares the unfunded liabilities to the national debt of America. So everybody says, oh, America's got, $34 trillion of debt. They're going to have to print $34 trillion in the future when the world actually doesn't want to buy their debt. But it's a lot bigger and it's a lot worse than that. Okay? This old chart shows that there's $163 trillion of unfunded liabilities. The real number today is actually up around $220 trillion of unfunded liabilities. They're going to have to print the difference. Okay? The Fed is going to have to monetize it all. And what's that going to do to Bitcoin? What is that going to do for hard assets? I don't know. I think it's going to be a pretty big advertisement for hard assets. But we can see here, 163 trillion big ones of unfunded liabilities. Massive, massive, massive. And you know what's even more scary and even more wild? I'm going to show you. Found this really cool article. You guys know I'm a sucker for a good title on an article. This one says, "This scary chart reveals the biggest government lie right now." It's a great title for a YouTube video. It's very catchy. But have a look at the chart it's talking about. So we can see here, this is the US government's own projections for where their own debt is going to go in the next 20 years. Let's have a look at it. Absolutely ridiculous. They're openly telling you that the debt to GDP ratio is going to moon to over 800%. This is what they're telling you. They're saying, look, we have $200 trillion of unfunded liabilities. Nobody's buying US debt. We're going to have to monetize it all. That's what they're telling you. They're openly telling you that we are going to see a hyperinflationary crash, okay? Again, the US dollar will be the last currency to hyperinflate. I get that. I'm a dollar milkshake maximalist. Great theory put out there by Brent. But it's going to happen, okay? They're going to have to print the difference. They're absolutely going to have to print the difference. You guys can see that chart. That is a parabola. That is exponential. That is ridiculous. And that is why Japan's $1 trillion pension fund is looking to Bitcoin for diversification strategies. And this is why we're seeing America's 9th largest pension fund buy a lazy 160 million bucks worth of Bitcoin. And this is why we're going to see more 169-year-old pension funds like Mass Mutual also buy $100 million worth of Bitcoin. The only problem, there's just not that amount of Bitcoin to go around. Okay, we talked about this, maybe it was yesterday. We talked about the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges, and you guys can see it clear as day. There's only 2 million Bitcoin left on exchanges right now. It's only enough for another 9 Michael Saylors to enter the space and buy 214,000 Bitcoin like Michael Saylor owns, okay? We know that there's 58,000 public companies. We know that there's, 2,500 billionaires. There's, as Michael Saylor says, thousands of pension funds in America. Only 9 of them can buy more Bitcoin than Michael Saylor. Okay, so again, I think this is a big story. I think a lot of people are not paying enough attention to it. Let's have a look at the chat. So Fair Alert says, who's Bill Pickford? Bill Pickford is a regular and one of my favorites here on the channel. So that's who Bill is. Let's have a look at GME. So we covered GME for you guys yesterday. We're going to come back to pension funds in a moment. But Bill in the chat says, looks like Andrew Tate sold his GME and lost out on today's Bitcoin gains. So everybody's favorite, Andrew Tate, came out and said, oh, look, I'm selling $500,000 worth of Bitcoin and I'm going all in on GMC. Oh, AMC, sorry. But he's doing both. I'm pretty sure he's buying both, AMC and GME, the GameStop, tokens. And we said, just buy Bitcoin, Andrew Tate, and have a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's just put in a massive $5,000 green candle today. 66,400 big ones is what the price of Bitcoin is right now. And this has happened the day after Andrew Tate sold 500,000 Bitcoin. This is why we keep telling you, just hold Bitcoin, okay? Bitcoin's biggest returns, 90% of Bitcoin's gains come in 12 days of the year, okay? And it's always when everybody is most bearish, and it always comes when people are selling their Bitcoin and they're scared, and it always comes on days like this when Bitcoin dips down to $56,000. All of you gurus think Bitcoin's over, and everybody who thinks they can predict the price of Bitcoin in the short term sell their Bitcoin. They tell all their followers to sell their Bitcoin, and Bitcoin rips from 56,000 to 64,000 in 48 hours. Okay, this is what happened. This was, again, nobody knows where the price of Bitcoin is going in the short term. This is why I tell you guys, never sell your Bitcoin. Never, ever, ever sell your Bitcoin, because we can see Bitcoin rallied $8,000 and 14% in the 2 days following it correcting down to $56,000. Okay. Again, nobody knows where the price of Bitcoin is going to go. And it is what Bitcoin does in these, very outlier days that gives you the majority of Bitcoin's returns. Another 8% massive green day today that Bitcoin has put in. Okay. Let's have a look. Pumbaa says the dominoes are falling. Buckle up, boys. She's going to get bumpy. Couldn't agree more. I still have that controversial opinion. Volatility is going to increase from here. Okay, that is my thoughts. I think volatility will increase. Again, I could be wrong. I mean, volatility has been decreasing for the past 14 years. Bitcoin's getting less and less volatile. But again, I'm warning you guys, I think Bitcoin's going to get more volatile. Just my thoughts, okay? Only 0.1% of the world's adopted Bitcoin. What's going to happen when the other 99.9% of the world want to adopt the best savings technology in human history? I don't know. I think volatility is going to increase. Oh, my man, Bill. Thank you so much, man. Dude, Bill has easily given us the most super chats. Thank you so much. Very, very appreciative, my friend. Another $20 super chat. Bill, thank you, my man. Really, really appreciate that. Maybe I need to invest that in some better Wi-Fi. I was a little bit late today trying to get the Wi-Fi started. I had to restart the computer and everything just to get the Wi-Fi going. Okay, speaking about channel favorites, here's another one. Another regular, Dan, who's been here from the very beginning with Bill and McLovin. He got the notification late. Sorry, you're going to have to rewind today's video. Thank you for the kind words. Appreciate that. Fair Alert makes a great comment. Another regular from the channel. Wisconsin, I believe it's Wisconsin, he's going to be made shade in 10 years. Greetings, Johnny Midas. Good to see you in the chat, my friend. The difficulty rate. It's funny. We were talking about the difficulty rate of when I was going to go live. 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds late, and then minus 21 million. All right, what else have we got in the chat? McLovin's working at his fiat mine. Have fun mining those cuck bucks. I couldn't agree more with Bill. Tate is just noise. Andrew Tate is noise. The perfect counter indicator. Again, the day that he says, I'm going to sell $500,000 worth of Bitcoin, the next day Bitcoin pumps. Let's check in on GME because we did talk about that in a live stream for you guys yesterday. I think it's an interesting story. Obviously not as interesting as Bitcoin, and it's not a revolution like Bitcoin is, but could be an interesting story. Holy shit, look at this chart. Sorry, I shouldn't be swearing, guys. Can't help myself. That's the chart of GME. Just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Bananas. Parabolic. I think Pam just gave me the eyes for swearing on the stream. Hopefully her mum's not watching this live stream because my language is a little bit loose. We got In Bit We Trust in the live chat. Tate is just noise. Could not agree more. Speaking of one of our favorites here on the channel, Elaine's in the chat. Hope you're doing well, Elaine. Pam says hi as well. Things are sure getting interesting. Things are getting interesting, all right? What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. What's Bitcoin going to do next? What's GME going to do next? So this is the price chart of GME. As you can see, it's going bananas. Now, again, nobody knows where the price of Bitcoin is going to go in the short term, but have a look at how wild things are getting out there. I saw yesterday, might cover this in another live stream for you guys later in the week, but $2 billion worth of shorts has been liquidated in the past couple of days in GME. GME's just pumped from $10 to the top, $65 at the top of that wick yesterday, back down to $39 today. So that means, look, a lot of people would have saw the Tate news, or the noise that Tate was putting out there saying, oh, GME is the revolution, guys. Buy GME to, bankrupt the bankers. That's BS. You guys know that's BS. As Nico says over on Simply Bitcoin, one of my favorite Bitcoin-only educational channels. The revolution is taking self-custody. Couldn't agree more with Nico on that. 100% true. The revolution is taking self-custody of your Bitcoin, okay, not GME stocks, okay? Damn, you guys are lively today in the chat. Oh, Fair Alert. Thank you, my friend. $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Good on you. Good on you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate that a lot. I appreciate all of your love here on the channel from you guys. Oh, fuck. Oh, I better not swear. Johnny Midas, $20 super chat as well. Put it in the swear jar. Oh, I tell you what, if I had a swear jar, it would be about this big and it would be overflowing with coins and I'd fill it up in a week. I really actually try to not swear on the channel with you guys because somebody tuned in maybe a couple of weeks ago and they said they were watching with the kids. So thank you for the super chat, Johnny. It honestly makes my day. I still can't believe that I have so many of you amazing people in the chat that tune in and just engage in the live stream and say hello. I really do like doing these live streams. I'm sick if you guys can't notice today. Actually, I saw someone comment about that. A speedy recovery. I've lost my voice. I'm sick, but I still love doing these live streams for you guys because I do get a blast tuning in with you guys and getting a little bit of a giggle out of the chat and catching you guys up on what I think is the signal. Okay, the signal is pension funds all around the world are buying Bitcoin. $160 million investment from the state of Wisconsin. That's a good hedge. Okay, I think that's a big hedge, guys. Now, Mass Mutual buying Bitcoin. Again, I strongly, as we kind of articulated in a previous live stream, I strongly believe that Japan's $1 trillion pension fund has already bought Bitcoin. Okay, you're not going to come out there and say, oh, we're just investigating Bitcoin for diversification strategies. Okay, I don't think you're going to say that publicly unless you've already got your position. Okay, so look, I honestly think that the Japanese pension funds already bought Bitcoin. Okay, so I think that's the signal. The signal is the big boys are buying Bitcoin big time, and I think everybody's scared. Bitcoin's been putting people to sleep over the past month. We've seen a very drawn out correction for the past, let me put things in a little bit perspective for you guys. I mean, we've been going sideways for a pretty long time here. I'm going to try to find my magic measuring sticks. Oh, I can't find my magic measuring sticks. I'm sorry, guys. I know they're in here somewhere. I'm going to try to find them. That noise is probably very annoying. I'm sorry. Okay, I can't find them. I can't find my magic measuring sticks. But you can see I'm just going to eyeball it. We've been going sideways here since the 19th of February. So it's the 15th of May. So let's see if I can remember the months in a calendar year. We got February, March, April, May. We've been going sideways for 3 months. Okay. We did the same thing earlier in the year when the Bitcoin ETFs were launched. We went sideways between December and February for a good, 2 months. We're currently going through a 3-month correction, and we also saw a very long and boring correction between April 2023 and August 2023. That went on for a good 3 to 4 months. Okay, so again, guys, I think the signal is watch what the big boys are doing, because people always get bored of Bitcoin when it's going sideways. Okay, they think, as Bill would like me to say, they say, F this. This is shit. This Bitcoin thing is shit. It's going to zero. It's boring. But I think the face melting rallies come when everybody's most bored of Bitcoin. Okay, guys, I've just about lost my voice. I'm going to tune out for today's live stream. I apologize about the cough, but I'm going to go drink some lemon tea and research another live stream for you guys tomorrow. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for the very generous super chats today from 3 of the regulars here on the channel, Bill, Fair Alert, and Johnny Midas. I really, really do appreciate the love. I still pinch myself that people tune into these videos, let alone stream me some monetary energy to keep me going. So thank you so much for that. And really hope you enjoyed today's live stream. I will see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day.